Hey everybody, welcome to the Irish Wrestling Podcast. This is your Wrestlemania Weekend Prediction Show, joined as always by, well, sometimes by Mrs. Rush, the queen of the Irish Wrestling
Just like
Podcast.
part-time wife. Sometimes I'm always here. We're under the same roof.
On camera,
All right, okay.
queen of Irish Wrestling and the podcast network and all those, things. Corey Brennan from Fightful here to talk all things NXT and WrestleMania, and Colin Byrne, the man who knows everything there is to know what's going on in the Irish wrestling scene. So he's here to talk about what's happening with OTT Supremacy on WrestleMania weekend as well. So we're going to start off with OTT Supremacy, which is happening. Some announcements made by that. Sammy D had that promo last week, as of this recording, that he's shaking things up within the draw. Colin, matches announced so far for the draw members is Be Cool and Renzo, Sammy and Jay, and Adam Maxted and Scotty Davis. Give us your thoughts on those matches and what your thoughts are for the future of the draw.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Like we did guess a couple of months back that Supremacy with the draw on the poster, are we going to get some sort of battle for supremacy? And I think we got that shake up with Sammy's promo. If people lose, there's going to be. He never actually said, did he? Like he never said they're out of the draw or whatever. But like, there's definitely some implication. What did he say? We're going to find the weak link.
Yeah, there's a weak link.
So there's some nice implications going into this. You know,
in the family.
Oh my! Yeah. There's only one man who can sort that out, and he's not even on the card for OTT. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but there's some nice implications going into it. Like, let's be fair. Like, there's some tasty matches. I think Barry has his work cut out from him. Didn't he only? Now this is me probably watching 5 different promotions around the island. But did Barry not only have a match with Renzo like
he did
recently enough, like in the last few months?
He was the one who lost, I think, to Renzo to kick
so
off.
That no one else can.
He was the one who lost.
Yeah, so like he already has that loss like under his belt, and like what's going to change this time? In my opinion, Renzo's only getting better as well. So, but I think like let's be fair, like the main event, which presumably it's going to be, well maybe not depending on what else is on the card, but Sammy against Jay like is the big one, you know. We thought that we may have gotten that, last month, or in January, but then there was a bit of a shake-up, and then Trent won the belt as well. But a lot of people were anticipating Sammy against Jay in Dublin that we never got, but we're getting that one-on-one now with some serious implications. So like Jay is stepping up massively, and he's proven his worth a lot. And like, can he get the better of Sammy?
Yeah, well,
I think it's fair. Like Sammy's on a downward spiral at the moment, isn't he? Like, you know,
he's lost a lot of matches.
This is it. I think Jay can do it. I absolutely do. I think Sammy's right in his promo. The draw need to shake up. Absolutely will find the weak link, but not been funny. Who has been the most successful member of the draw going back over the last few weeks? So truly, will Sammy's words actually be his downfall within the draw? Because who has been the weakest link? If you have a little think and do a little tete-a-tete, then there could be only the one answer. You know me, I would back Sammy to the hill, but I'm a massive believer in Jay and what he has achieved over the last, say, 18 months. So I think we could be looking at a major shake-up, and I am here for it.
Yeah, it's a major shake-up within the Irish wrestling scene because, you know, for the last year or so, maybe more, the draw have been running
dominated,
OTT. Yeah. You know, Sammy's very rarely lost.
Sammy's been running Irish wrestling, let's be fair. Like, and that's probably to his detriment that we're seeing now, because like, does that contribute to how he's performing now? Like, is he burnt out? Is he wrestling too much? Is he wrestling too much everywhere else? I don't know, is his body starting to give up a little? You know, they're all questions that I think are fair to be asked. And yeah, I think we'll get the answer on it's Sunday, isn't it? I was gonna say Saturday, like I'm so used to Saturday shows, but it's actually a Sunday show for a change.
Yeah. It's going to be weird not seeing the OTT title I know Sammy has been on shows where he hasn't defended, it's been tag matches and stuff, but you know, the OTT champion isn't even going to be in attendance for an OTT show with, you know, these kind of implications. It's, foreshadowing the future of OTT if, somebody doesn't take that belt off Trent as soon as they can.
Like I'm not totally against that. Like to be fair, I do get people want to see the champion on the shows, but if there's enough on the show to compensate for not having the champion there, that works for me. Like so if you have this implication match of Sammy versus Jay and the other members of the draw, and what the implications coming out of that, like that can be as fiery as a championship match, you know. Like once there's something there that you can get your teeth into and invest in. So like I'm not missing the championship this week. Will that be different on another show where maybe we don't have these implications going into a show? Maybe. But I think people were expecting that from Trent when he won the championship. Like everyone remembers Trent having the tag titles and fucking off for 2 years, you know. So is it going to be the same with the OTT Championship? I hope not. But like, if he misses a show every now and again, like he signed to TNA, let's be fair. Like, so he's bound to miss some shows. Once it doesn't happen too often, and we're not getting long gaps without a champion being there, I don't really mind it, to be quite honest.
Announced as of this recording today, the tag titles will be defended in a 5K challenge, not a 5K run. If anybody's wondering, it's $5,000 on the line. The Social Elite are offering up $5,000 for an open challenge to anybody. Step up and see if they can last with them in the ring. So I'm not sure, is there like, do they get $5,000 and the titles, or they last, is it like a beat the clock kind of challenge where they, if they last 5 or 10 minutes with them in the ring and then they get $5,000? I'm not sure.
Yeah, no idea.
Implications are.
I love stuff like this just to spice it up though a little bit. Like it's it just adds a little bit extra into it as well. Like is it a championship match? Like we don't know. I'm sure we'll find out on the show. But yeah, the promo was pretty good. Poor Jacob being robbed of $5,000.
For
But yeah,
push-ups.
the dirty dog Sean Max Guinness. I wonder where he got that trick from. So yeah, very very reminiscent of some late 80s, early 90s promos there. So but yeah, it's good to see. Good to see. It adds a bit of an extra plot twist in there as well. So yeah.
And we also have a grudge match, a tables match, Terry Thatcher and Noah Walker. Terry's finally getting his hands on him, months ago, where he turned on him in the detachment and took him out, left him out of action for a long time. So he's finally getting his hands on him properly in a one-on-one match.
Yeah, it's great to see Terry back on shows properly. We know that he went through a bit of a hiatus there for a while, not just in OTT but in Irish wrestling. So it's good to see him back proper. I think he needs to get this over and done with and get back to where he belongs, which is closer to the top of the card. So I've always been a firm advocate for him. I think he's one of the most underrated wrestlers in Irish wrestling. And get through Noah Walker, put that big dirty bastard through a table, and yeah, move on to some sort of title picture, because I believe that's where he belongs. I can't remember if he's ever had an OTT championship match, to be quite honest. But
He has.
If he has, it's been a while. It's
Yeah,
been a long
been a
while.
yeah.
Yeah, and it was probably a throwaway match as well.
Oh, yeah.
So like I think he's at that stage where it's kind of getting to a now or never maybe stage from. So I'd like to see him have a run at it. And soon, because I don't. Let's be fair, we've talked about his style a lot before as well, haven't we? Like he kills himself in matches, so how long can that be sustainable? We've seen Ospreay say that he had to wind himself down, and I think Ospreay's younger than Thatcher. So like there's those kind of things as well, so yeah, I just want them to get through this match. Hopefully he gets the win over Noah Walker. Gets a bit of revenge, and yeah, can move on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, I hope so too. don't think there's anything else announced so far at the minute for that show. But you know, if anybody's going, you're going to that show, are you?
I'll be there. I'll be there. Yeah.
You going to
Yeah.
enter the tag team?
Absolutely not.
Oh, I would have made if I had $5,000, I'd whip a pair of tights out or somewhere. I'd be like, right, anyone want to tag with me, lads? There's $5,000 on the table. I mean, I'd be out in me singlet, and I tell you, man, I'll body slam the best of them. Give a shit. $5,000.
All Max I would have to do is take his top off, and I'd run the other way. Like, have you seen that fella? Like, fucking hell.
I take my top off, and they'll all run the other way, and I just take the money.
Gary's having none of it. Look.
Needs more.
I'll be in Philadelphia.
If there was $5,000, he'd be like, love, let me give you a hand.
Yeah, I think it's a good I think it's good having it on the Sunday as well. Like, I'm really excited for it because, like, obviously we have 2 nights of WrestleMania, which we're going to speak about Saturday and Sunday. So it's nice. I always, when we have those 2-nighters, I usually find myself just sitting around for the day waiting for whatever is going to start, or trying to plan out a day. Do I need to get anything done before I need to sit on myself and watch the rest? And of course, with being up till, presumably I'm going to be up till 4 or 5 a.m. on Saturday night, it probably means I'm going to be in bed most of the day. So it kind of narrows that window. But it's good to have something in the middle of the day to be able to say, okay, I can get up, head to that show. By the time that's over, I'm getting home, probably have a bite to eat, and then you're sitting down to the pre-show, you know. So, yeah, it's something that I'm looking forward to, a full weekend of wrestling, basically, you know.
You're going to it as well, Corey, are you?
I was gonna go, but unfortunately, with Sean traveling and everything, I kind of had to take a step back and be like, Ray, I need to hold down the fort. Unfortunately, I would love to be there. I'm definitely going to be going to Scrapper in August, as I said to you before. But I'm gutted. I'm going to miss that card, especially with Jay and Sammy facing off. Like, I'm absolutely good, but some things happen. Some things just have to happen. So
it's a nice warm up for night 2 of WrestleMania anyway. For anybody that is going, I'm sure the results will appear up online on the OTT group anyway. On as soon as it's over.
I'm sure Mr. Tommy Flynn will have the whole thing up on his Instagram.
Spoilers up if anybody wants them. Before we get into night 2 of WrestleMania and night 1, another one, you know, the show, it's the pre-show, it's a warm-up for night 1 of WrestleMania. It is NXT Stand and Deliver, and they're calling it. I'm not sure if you're a regular watcher of NXT.
I very, very, very rarely watch NXT, and most of the stuff that I see is usually through social media. So I kind of fell out of love with it a little bit when they changed to 2.0, and I kind of haven't gotten back into it yet. I do know that there's some exciting stuff happening. Yeah, so I think I need to start dipping my toes back in a bit more.
Yeah.
I haven't taken the leap yet.
This show, I think the Stand and Deliver is going to be one of the best ones they've had. You know, including, you know, the takeover shows from the Black and Gold brand as well. Like the card is wicked. Like the stories that have led up to a lot of these matches has been fucking brilliant. So, Corey, we'll get into the first match announced that we've been looking forward to for a while. Oba Femi versus Dijak and versus Josh Briggs, who was added into it. They were added in this week. What are your thoughts on this match and who's winning?
I think Oba's pretty set to be the winner of this match. I think I'd like to see Dijak get a title and get a good run with it, but and to be honest, Josh Briggs has been surprising for me in this storyline. Like, to be honest, since he went out on his own, like, he went from being someone that I didn't really pay a lot of attention to when he was on TV, and now I think he's very much earned his spot in this match through the build. I really do think Oba Femi is going to win. I don't think there is a likelihood that he doesn't. They love him. They absolutely love him in NXT. The fans love him. The officials love him. The other wrestlers can't believe how good he is already. So I think Oba is going to win. But it's going to be a really, really fun match, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing what Oba learns wrestling someone like Dijak, and what Briggs can learn from someone like Dijak, because a lot of people like to say, "Oh, why are these older lads still in NXT? It's supposed to be developmental." It's so important for these guys to still be there, Guys like Dijak, guys like Ilya, who for a lot of people would say like, well, and before I said that like he's beyond NXT now. But I think personally they should stay there for a while, and I think the same can be said for Dijak. He'll ratio me if he finds this though. Like if he sees this, he's absolutely going to ratio me for saying that Oba's going to win. But yeah, I am looking forward to this match. It's going to be the meat invitational of NXT Stand and Deliver, so I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
Oba Femi all the way. I think so too. But Corey touched on a really, really important point as well. The likes of Dijak, the likes of Ilia, and go as far as saying Baron Corbin, you know, of having these guys who are so experienced still in NXT, because they couldn't be three more different or versatile people, not just characters, but the way that they kind of reinvent themselves. You know, Ilia, going back to Wednesday, he faced Walter, probably wouldn't have been the most talkative person, but now he's cutting fantastic promos with Tony D, and he's getting into the dramatic side of things as well. So to show how versatile they are, and the fact even three completely different builds as well, you know, three completely different styles. So essential to have that still in NXT, to say it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what your style is, what the direction you want to go in. Like, look at what these guys have become, and they still are, like, you could arguably say could still reach their peak if they go up to the main roster. It's amazing, like, but Oba Femi all the way, but it's definitely going to be a great match for show.
Yeah. I'm going to go for Oba Femi first, because he hasn't got the title that long, so it's a big shame that if he dropped it so soon, with this, you know, everybody talking about him online, how good he is, you know, considering he's only been wrestling, you know, on TV for what, a couple of months, if that.
Baffling.
It's
absolute.
I've got a love for Josh Briggs though. Since he's, I can't help feeling that he's like Butch Armstrong.
Yeah,
got that Butch Armstrong vibe.
Got a fire.
He just feels when you see him wrestling, is the way he moves. Like, it's just like he always reminds me of Butch whenever he went. When he's in a singles match, like, it's very, very so I have a soft spot for him just because of that. But yeah, Oba Femi. Colin, after all that talk, do you think?
Yeah, listen, as I said, I'm not a complete out of the loop. Like, I do keep up with things online, and I've seen Oba Femi, and I haven't watched an episode since he's been around. And even I know who he is, you know. So, and he's, from what I've heard about him, he's like this next big thing. So I've always been a big fan of Dijak. Josh Briggs, haven't taken to him yet, but yeah, like, I think Oba Femi, the hype that's around him, I think they'd be very, from a looking at it from the outside in, I think they'd be very silly to take it off him this early, and let him have that run. Also, I don't think Dijak needs it at the moment. So, and yeah, I think I can just echo what Liz said. To have these guys still in and around NXT, I think is imperative to the younger guys that are still trying to find their footing in there, to have guys that have that extensive knowledge and experience to be able to pass over, you know. But yeah, Oba Femi, I think, would be my pick in that one.
Okay. Tag team titles are on the line. That we haven't finally, you know, as we record, the matches haven't been, the competitors haven't been announced. Whether it's going to be a singles, you know, a standard tag team 2-on-2, or there's a triple threat or three-way tag match tonight or tomorrow night on NXT. Bron Breakker, Bar Corbin. Who do you think, Corey? Who are you thinking is going to be in this match, and out of that three?
Who I think versus who I want is a very different story. Who I think it'll be will be the OC, because it's just you don't bring a tag team like the OC down to the NXT unless you're intending to put them on the premium live event. Who I want is Axiom and Nathan Fraser, because Corbin and Breaker recently worked with them on an episode of NXT, and that match was absolutely brilliant. So I'd very much like to see them. So realistic answer, OC. My heart, Nathan Fraser and Axiom.
Not the LWO. So
no, not the LWO. I love the LWO. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't see them winning this match in any capacity.
No,
that's fair, I think. Do you know what? Regardless of whatever comes out of this, my thoughts keep turning to Braun Breaker and what's next for him. So my head is thinking, you know, Raw after Mania, we're going to obviously have a few faces appear, but I'm kind of like, it's really tough because do we want that love affair with Baron and Braun to end?
I
Or,
don't think so.
right? It's like, or
It's-
like, how long more does that go on? And then, yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know. I want girls on bread. It's a Joey thing. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you kind of,
Yeah.
you know, so it's a bit like that. So, oh, pass next question. Yeah, this is a bit of a stickler for me. I'm a bit up in the air with it, but
Yeah.
still enjoying what I'm
Yeah.
seeing though. So yeah, it's a bit of a, yeah.
I'm with you there regarding Braun Breaker. He signed to SmackDown. He's officially with SmackDown, so I'm presuming he's going to be up after WrestleMania. But that's the standard way of doing things, is bring him up. So
Yeah.
if you're going to put the titles on anybody after that, it should be the OC. If they're
Sorry, after I say Raw, SmackDown.
yeah,
It
doesn't matter.
okay. I was like,
Oh, yeah, like it wouldn't be a surprise to see him rock up on the Raw after Mania,
they
though.
could do
Like,
that
you
as
know,
well.
Yeah.
especially if they lose. Like, because if the OCR, you know, I'm not sure, Corey, if that's been confirmed, like if they are with NXT, or have they been moved to NXT?
It's not. They're still SmackDown, but it's kind of a case now where there's such a not a well, yeah, there's much more of a relationship between like the NXT and WWE main roster creative now that wasn't there when Vince was in charge. Like, obviously, it helps that Triple H and Shawn Michaels are best friends of the last few decades. Like, but for with regards to the OC, I don't know. Like, that's the thing. Like, they could easily turn around and go back to SmackDown after Stand and Deliver. Like, because with the whole AJ stuff right now, it's very unclear what they're going to do. Well, we'll talk more about that later. But honestly, I don't know, because Sean loves having the main roster teams come down. He absolutely loves it. He saw it with New Day. He always says that they could take anyone who wants to come down and have a couple of matches. So
that's why I think the OC could be the ones to win, because you saw Becky coming down and win the title, and you've saw Baron Corbin coming down and he's won tag titles. Like, so having, you know, the OC aren't being used on SmackDown every week, so why not have them on NXT every week and have other teams learn off them? And you know they've been around a long time, like, so their knowledge within the tag team industry, like within wrestling, has been, you know, second to none in NXT. You know, like, so there's a lot of teams down there that could learn a lot off them, and you know, bring some team to their level then whenever they finally beat them.
Yeah,
I believe that once Braun and Corbin both drop the titles, I think they're both going to be excuse me, finished on NXT programming. Jesus, sorry. I think they're both going to be finished on NXT programming, whether that means Corbin's going to go up to SmackDown with Braun. Obviously Corbin's a free agent, so he moves around any way they want. Obviously, he's been in NXT the last few months, hasn't been on the main roster at all. I think you keep them together. I think you keep them together at least for a month after Stand and Deliver. If they lose, then, because what you do then is, for people who aren't really familiar with Braun, the main roster crowd and the main roster fans who don't know, who really know who Braun is, you give the chance to really show that he's not just this freak athlete, he's also really, really funny. I think he's very funny. Him and Corbin are hilarious together. And I think you get the chance for a lot of people who don't watch NXT, who last time they saw Corbin, no one liked Corbin back then. And as good of a worker as he was, like, people just didn't take to him. But now he's signed a new deal. Now he's literally doing great in-ring work again, and his character's back to being the best of what he's ever done. So I think, regardless of the result of the match on Tuesday, they are going to drop the titles. It's just a matter of who, I think, honestly.
Okay. Women's titles online also. Aoife Valkyrie, I'm not calling her whatever they call her. Nobody knows how to pronounce it properly anyway, so I'll just call her Aoife.
Lyra Valkyria.
Lyra Valkyria,
It's not Lyra Valkyria.
There's a lot of people out there who don't know how to pronounce her name.
Yeah.
Aoife against Roxanne Perez, Roxy from ROH days. It's been a great storyline for this this feud as well. You know, you've got Tatum's fucking mimicking stuff in the background for the last few months, but Roxanne's come back. You know, she never lost the title. She got injured, even though they stripped her, you know, like a week later or something. And she was back really soon. I'm not sure why they stripped her in the first place, but she's back now. She's fucking whether she's going to
strip her, Jerry.
Well,
they didn't strip her. She lost it. She lost it in a fair way.
Did she lost?
Poor Roxanne.
Did she lose it in a fair way?
She lost. She had that match with Mako. She went away for a bit. They were talking about stripping her, and then at the last minute, they were like, "Oh, she's going to compete in this ladder match instead," and she lost the match in the ladder match instead.
Yeah, well, technically, she was something to do with her. Like, that's why they put her in it and stripped her off it, like kind of thing.
There you go, love.
In a roundabout way.
It's all connected in some way. Yeah. Something like that is how it went.
She didn't get pinned or submitted for the title.
Loopholes.
Oh my god.
Anyway,
the money was just resting in your account.
This is the story they're trying to tell on. Like, this is her story. She was never beaten for the title. This is her reasoning for wanting the title back. So wanted it back. So this is their story, not my story. I'm just repeating what she's been saying on her. Anyway, Colin, Aoife Valkyrie, is she winning? Is she retaining the title?
This one is a proper 50-50 for me. Now, again, from not watching it religiously, and again, I probably see a lot more of Aoife stuff because I'm friends with friends of hers through social media and stuff, so I'm always seeing her stuff pop up. But yeah, this is very much a 50-50 because I can really see this go either way. Can either of the two girls potentially be making a breakthrough to the main shows? Absolutely. So it wouldn't surprise me either way who would win, and it wouldn't surprise me if the loser fucked off then, you know, or if they both stuck around, you know. It really has that implication for me looking at it. I don't know. I'm really engrossed in the story and what's happening. And yeah, I'd love to see I want to see Aoife be successful. And if that success translates into remaining as champion for a little while longer, then absolutely. I just don't want to see her lose and then have nothing to fall back to, which would be the worst case scenario. So if she is dropping the title, I want her to go into something else that has a bit of meat to it, or potentially move up into main roster and be able to shine up there. But yeah, like in this moment, I'd like to see Aoife retain.
No.
I'm not gonna lie, I am worried for our girl. I am worried for Lyra. I think Roxanne's taking it, if I'm really, really honest, which breaks my heart to say, because, you know, we all fierce patriotic, right? We all love our own, you know, we love our homegrown just as much as we love our spuds, right? But I do think that Roxanne is taking it, and I will echo Colin's sentiment as well, that I hope there's something lined up for Lyra afterwards, because if not, I do have a fear that unless she is super prepared for something on the main roster, that she might get lost in the shuffle, because I don't know where she fits in right now, if you know what I mean, because we have quite a few edgy characters on the main roster already. So I would be worried that she would be a little bit lost or overlooked, regardless of how skilled she is. Do you know what I mean? I think it's going to be an unbelievable match. I think this is going to be a really, really, really good match for the two girls. But I am fearful for Lyra. I think Roxanne might be taking it.
Yeah. Corey?
Same as what Liz and Colin are saying. I really could not tell you who wins this match. As far as call-ups go, I haven't heard anything about either of them. It's very tight-lipped, like versus with like Ilia and that. Like it's very easy to talk about those, but no one seems to know what the plans are for the NXT Women's title going forward. So I really could not tell you. I do know that when she does go to the main roster, Lyra, they do see big things in Lyra. They definitely see her being a sort of a successor to Becky. That's kind of obvious given the fact that she didn't take the NXT title off her.
Yeah.
But I think what Roxanne is doing now is some of the best work she's been doing in her whole career. She's someone who's very similar to the likes of Sami Zayn and so on, like who you wouldn't really expect to be this absolutely fantastic heel because they're so likable as baby faces. But the crazy thing about what's going on with Roxanne right now is she was supposed to be doing it alongside Cora Jade. I've been trying to tell people about this, and no one seems to be listening. They were going to run those two together as a team and reunite them together as kind of like their mean girl personas now. And I think that the fact that they pivoted from that to what we have now is even more so like interesting. So I know the match is going to be. I think the match could be match tonight. To be honest, I know everyone is looking at Trick and Carmelo, but I think Lyra and Roxanne could very easily be the match tonight if they give them the time and they let
them.
If they give them the time and they try and keep the Tatum stuff to a minimum. I love Tatum. I think she's one of the most entertaining parts of NXT because she's just so like committed to the bit. But I really, really want to just see Lyra and Roxanne beat the snot out of each other for about 25 minutes. And I could not tell you who wins. But if I had to pick one, I have to stay with Lyra.
Yeah. Patriotically, I'd love Lyra Aoife to win it. But I think Roxanne is the one to go forward as the heel. The chase for people going after Roxanne is going to be a lot more entertaining than what Aoife's run has been. Like we've just had a great run, but I think that chase of Aoife finally getting back, like I think maybe like Aoife and Tatum have a feud after she loses, and Tatum's
if there's shenanigans,
that's what I was thinking. If Tatum costs her the championship,
that's where I'm seeing it going.
Then it leads to a feud.
That's the only way I can see it going. I don't know how long it'll be before any of them are called up. Like because Tiffany was just called up, and it's going to be a while. There's a lot of talent in that roster that are top tier talent. Anybody coming up now in this time and frame is just going to be lost again. They're going to be lost in the shuffle. Like I said, there's a lot of women on that both SmackDown and Raw. They compete with it'll be a while. I think it'll be a while, and it's good that let them build up a persona, let them build up more following, let people fucking start talking about them after Stand and Deliver and waiting. Let that anticipation build for another 6 or 7 months before you bring either those two women up, or even another year in NXT where they just can get better and better and better. It's when they're actually properly ready for it. The NXT title match is not the main event. Tony D'Angelo against Ilja Dragunov, someone we're familiar with over on this side of the world. He's Progress champion for a long time. He's WXW champion. He's been in an OTT. He had a great match with Shinjiro Irie in 2018 before he went to NXT. I'm sure I pronounced his name properly wrong there. Come on. Ilja's been a fucking hell of a champion. Let's put it that way. Like he's after they've thrown Walter for the NXT UK championship, that reign was brilliant, and then he had his feud with Bron Breakker. Finally got that title, and as you said, you've been reporting about it, Corey, already, that people are comparing him to Gunther on that level. Or does he drop the title at Stand and Deliver? Is he ready to go? Is he ready to go up right now as things stand?
See, what I was told is that they're not looking to, as we said earlier about Dijak, they're not looking to bring him up just yet. And like he's such an influential hand down there. Like he elevates everyone he works with. He's so easy to work with. He's said to be one of the most wonderful people you could ever meet in the business. Like it's insane how liked he is down there, like, and how much he is just treated with this respect as one of the best workers in the world, because he is. I think we can all agree on that much at least. And I've been told that not to expect a call up immediately, But with these things, it could be a case of right now, today, they mightn't want to bring him up after Mania or anything like that. But by Stand and Deliver, they could turn around and think, all right, maybe we could bring him up. Like these things can change on a dime. Like I won't deny that, especially with NXT call-ups. They've always been something that could literally change at a drop of a hat. So do I think he's gonna lose? I don't. I don't think he's gonna lose. I think there's still a lot to be done, and I know you're both going to be disappointed about that. But I do think he is gonna. I think Tony will learn his respect. I definitely think that's gonna be what's happening, and I do think Tony is more likely to go to the main roster at this point in time than Ilya is, for the simple fact is everyone loves his gimmick, his character work. It's something that's really NXT is so like they get to try all these things out, all these vignettes out, all these like silly little things that if you put it on the main roster first and it failed, oh my God, you're never get the end of it. But if you try it out on NXT, it works on NXT, then there you go. So he brings that gimmick to SmackDown or Raw. I will be on the edge of my seat every week because I just want to see him just full mafia, lean completely into it. The bad like vignettes, just where like I just can't get over that one that they did with Ilya where they kidnapped him and then they had Ilya walking away and look behind him like a fucking 80s action star. Like just give me all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I think the match itself is going to be really, really, really fun. I think we're going to be completely convinced at one point in the match that Tony is going to win the title because that's just how good both of them are. But I think for fans of Tony, at least, it's going to be a disappointing night.
I'll leave Liz to last. Colin.
Yeah, like I'm a big fan of Ilya. I always have been, even back to his indie days. I loved having him over here, when he was over as well. And I think he's a superstar. As Corey said, if there's no plans to move him up, why bother? What I like to see as well is I like to see them introduce them to the main show crowd before they bring them up. So we've already seen that with a couple as well, which is nice because you can kind of put the feelers out, and then when they do actually come up, it's like, oh, I've seen them before. Oh, I know that face. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I haven't seen them do that with Ilya. So if he was to drop and bring him up, it's like, who's this guy? You know, because there's a lot of people who wouldn't have watched NXT, wouldn't have watched NXT UK, and don't watch the indies, and they don't know who this crazy fucking European is that's coming up. That's fucking himself all over the ring, like a madman, you know. So I think the fact that we haven't got those little introductions now, they could absolutely swerve us. But the fact that we haven't got those little introductions for us to kind of put the feelers out, I think it says that he's sticking around. Does that mean that he's going to keep the championship? That's another question. He could lose and still stick around. You know, there could be more to tell. But I remember, I think we did a podcast back at the start of the 2.0 days about Tony D'Angelo, and I was saying I love that character. And we did question at the time whether it worked or it would work with a main show crowd. But there's so many different avenues it could go. Like he can bow on the funny side and ham it up to the nines and make it funny as fuck. But then he can also switch it and go dead serious. I'm going to fucking kill you style, you know? So there's so many different ways that he could go with it. And I think, I'd like to see him. I think he has a great look and he has a great character behind him. He's after honing that now over the past couple of years on NXT. So I think it's only a matter of time for him. I did mark him a couple of years ago, but like I don't know. Ilya it plays the whole he's gonna look like he's dead for about 10 minutes in the match, and then he's gonna come back out of nowhere as he usually does. But yeah, like I'm looking forward to it. I always love an Ilya match. If they've no plans for Ilya, I can see him retaining.
Yeah. I'm fantasy booking in my head this match. I'm fantasy booking 21 and only not because I love Tony D, but the fact that I want Gunther to beat, this is a prediction for later on, but I want Gunther or Walter or whatever you call him to beat Sami Zayn and then have an open challenge on Raw after Mania and Ilja be the one to answer it and beat Gunther on the Raw after Mania.
No.
That's what I want to happen.
Oh my
No.
gosh! What a call off! Oh my
that's
God!
Don't ever let this man book a show. Don't ever let this. He should have that killing the Intercontinental Championship in one fell swoop.
For that title, it should be Ilja. The history is there. Nobody can beat Gunther like Ilja can. So
Jordan has more history than
I know, but they're not booking Jordan.
Just saying, like,
I know, yeah, they tried.
Jordan has 10 plus matches with Gunther.
I know how many matches but Ilja and Gunther have a long history in WXW. Like they come up together. They were in factions. They tried to get him on NXT. They tried, he's beating them in 2 5-star matches already for the NXT UK title. So that's just a fantasy book prediction that I want for Raw after me because we're going to be in attendance. And
we put up a graphic that just has RIP Intercontinental Championship. Yeah, that was made to share, like
600 plus days, nearly 700. All roots so Jerry can see it happen live in
It's
person.
An open challenge on the Raw after Mania. Nobody can beat Gunther, and he puts out an open challenge to say, "Who can beat me? I've beaten everybody." And Ilja answers the call and beats him, because he's injured from Wrestlemania because he's after going through a hell of a war with Sami Zayn.
Listen, I love the idea in a vacuum. In a vacuum, the idea of Gunther saying, "No one can beat me," and then Ilja's music hitting and having Gunther react to that as a "oh shit" kind of reaction from Gunther. That would be very entertaining. Don't get me wrong. The match itself would be entertaining as hell. But for me, Ilja and Gunther is not a Raw match. It's not a SmackDown match.
Oh, it's the Raw after Mania. It's
yes, but even though it's 3 hours long, do you see them giving that match the time that it deserves? And if they didn't, no matter how hurt Gunther is, no matter how tired he is, if that match went less than 10 minutes, I think the internet would have a seizure over it, to be honest.
Absolute meltdown.
Oh anyway, my God, they had a 25-minute classic.
Tony D beating Ilja, that's the only reason. Outside of that fantasy booking, I think Ilja will probably retain. I want Tony D to win, but I think Ilja will retain. But that was just a fantasy book spin-off series there. So, love. Let's go.
You bunch of bitches. I tell you this, he's not going to forget any one of you, and he's going to send the boys around. And I tell you now, lads, he is for it. Oh my God.
I'm screwed.
I tell you, lads, if you hear him pulling up outside, do you know what? The first time I seen Tony D when he came out, I actually couldn't believe my eyes because we were chatting before we came on, and I am a massive organized crime fan. No longer active, but I'm a big fan. But the way I go on about it, here I was running my own circle, right? But it fascinates me. The whole thing fascinates me. So this character is just right up my street and ticks all of my boxes. And there's just like, if God forbid he doesn't win, right? Now, look, firstly, I've got my Gabagool t-shirt upstairs clean on the bed, waiting to be packed to go to Stand and Deliver for the Sopranos, right? I want Tony D merch. I want the white vest with this on the front of it. I want it all. I want it in spades, right? I want everything. I want all the merch. But if for some unbeknown reason to us that he isn't successful taking the title from Ilja, right? Okay, it'd definitely be a hard fought battle. But if they bring him up to the main roster following this, they need to go balls deep with the whole thing. He needs to be presented in such a way that even if you don't know who he is, you will know who he is. So he needs to be putting up in the huge Cadillac with the Godfather theme on the horn, like Polly Walnuts, that's what it needs to be. It needs to be that, you know what I mean? He needs to come out with the apron covered in blood and tell the boys to clean this up for me. It needs to be everything. They need to go balls to the wall with this and present him in such a great way. And I am so here for it. I would love to see him win, but I am just so excited to see this match. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna be devil's advocate. Tony D's winning. There we go. You all supporting the boy. Love him too, but I'm sorry now, but you know yourselves, lads. It's all about the D.
Can't wait for the
Tony D.
can't wait for the vlog now that Jerry records.
How great is that in a t-shirt? It's all about the D for him, and it's just like, this is a great show. It's a great shirt. Tony D.
Anyway. The reason this match isn't the main event is because we have a main event that's been built up like,
oh man,
you know, they had their Prime Target promo, if anybody watched that, which was phenomenal. Williams and Carmelo Hayes. Trick, I didn't know he grew up. I know he's not from Philadelphia, but he grew up and he was moved to Philadelphia when he was younger, lived with his uncle in South Philly. So he's a hometown boy coming back for the biggest feud of his life, a feud that may continue into the main roster when both of them get called up. But for now, this is the match of one of the matches of the weekend, including the WrestleMania matches. This story has been fucking unreal. Colin, have you been following the Trick and Carmelo stuff online?
Very, very vaguely, very, very vaguely. I'm just gonna shit all over this, and you're gonna hate me for it. Put your fucking championship match on last. Like, come on to fuck. I don't care what feud you have. I really, really couldn't give a fuck about any other feuds. If it's good enough, put it on first and give them 20, 25 minutes, you know. Put your championship match on last. You degrade your championship by not putting it on as the man. Regardless of what feud you have going into it. That's my hot take on that. I'm just a firm advocate. I always have been and I always will be. Your main championship should be on last, whether that's men's or women's.
Okay. Love, Trick and Carmelo?
This match is just going to be fire. You know, it's just like anytime you hear, like, you know, when you're the next morning when you're watching, and anytime you hear either of them, you'll stop and you'll listen because you know it's the next step in the feud. If you were walking past the telly, you'll stop and you'll listen because you're like, oh my God, what else is going to happen? Like, the place is going to be deafening. It's going to be electric.
Whoop,
and oh my God, they're going to put on the match of their lives. They're both so talented, both so charismatic, both so invested in this feud, like 109%. It's such a hard one to call. I'm going to say Trick, but would I be disappointed if Carmelo won it? I don't know, to be honest with you, because this match is going to be so good. You will have the utmost respect for whoever walks away. You know what I mean? You really, really will, because it's going to be that good. But my heart says Trick.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm the same.
It's a tough one.
I've been invested in this feud for a while, but the Prime Target promo last week was another level. Like when they do Prime Target promos, they really do them well, and the way they told the story of the feud, and have them running up the rocky steps at the end, and I was like, I can't wait to run up on the rocky steps. It's gonna be brilliant. Like, but this is what's leading in from the previous match with Ilia and Tony D. Ilia, you know, if Ilia does win it, I think Trick should be the one to dethrone him. Trick is on that level now where he has to be the next guy in NXT. Carmelo's, you know, already being in SmackDown. I think, you know, he's destined for the main roster as soon as, you know, this weekend's over. I think he'll be full time on the main roster. I'm not sure if that's confirmed or anything, but I think Trick should
already as much as confirmed that you're on the weekend.
Yeah, I did. Thanks, Colin. Someone that said
it. Confirmed though. Is he gone? Like after this weekend?
Is it confirmed? It depends if you believe me or not, then, isn't it?
Is he gone? No, I mean, this weekend, is that it? Like, is he done with NXT?
By the summer. It could be this weekend.
That's what I mean. Like, he could, you know, I mean, like, this weekend, like, he's definitely gone. Like, so I think that's why Trick should win and be the one to dethrone Ilia in the long term.
It's a strange one because they both could be finishing up in NXT. They could be hotshot and Trick to the main roster. So that's something that I was actually specifically told. Don't count Trick out from a call-up because the minute he showed up on SmackDown to save Carmelo a couple of months ago, everyone took notice. Yeah. Everyone noticed that this guy who had never been on a main roster program before in his life came just made a run in as someone just to kind of introduce him to the audience, like kind of in the midst of the whole who attacked them storyline with NXT. And when you have an entire main roster arena doing the chant for him, and he didn't say anything, all he did was clear out a couple of heels.
That happened during the Rock's promo as well.
That as well.
By whooping somebody's ass, and the crowd were chanting "whoop that trick" for 5 minutes,
Yeah.
and the Rock was trying to cut a promo, like, and
exactly.
he was in the city, never mind the building.
As for if he's ready for that, with Trick, it's a weird one. Melo, yes, Melo has been ready, I'd say, for the last year at least. But again, like we said, they need to have some established names down there. They can't just throw everyone up at once, or they're going to start to lose ratings for one, and two, they'll start. I'm not going to talk anymore about ratings in this program. But I think Trick is winning this match. I think he has to win this match, especially with, like you guys said, with the prime target and with Trick's roots in Philadelphia. The match itself, I agree with Colin on his point about the main championship go on last, but this is one of those, I think there's a very few times where I would say that it shouldn't happen. This is one of those times where I would have to disagree with Colin. And like I said, usually I would agree world title goes on last, men or women. But Trick and Carmelo is Shawn Michaels' version of Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. It's Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. It's a blood feud. It's the two of the biggest faces that they have, had, now that Melo's heel again. And it's going to be one of those emotional matches because you just know they're going to play up the Melo is going to. They love to do this thing in WWE where when a heel turns on a friend, the minute they get into a match, they're very apologetic, and then there's a low blow, there's a chop block, there's something that makes you go, yeah, you know. So
really add us.
yeah. So I think Trick wins. I think Melo is going up soon. I would love to see them continue on the main roster. I want it to be like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. When Kevin Owens went up first, Zayn came up after, but they just restarted where they were Sami. They met each other in the aisle, hockey punches. I want to see that, but with Trick and Melo, to be honest.
Yeah.
Ooh,
so that so far that's standing. I know there's talk of Sean Spears and
Joe Gacy.
But yeah, what did you say his name was? Joe Gacy. Got a fucking mind blank there. Maybe a pre-show warm-up match, maybe before the show.
I don't know, but I think if they are going to do it, they're going to do a chairs match. They've made it pretty clear that Gacy is, for some reason, very, very obsessed with Sean Spears', let's say, enjoyment of steel chairs, including to throwing them off the top of the PC, which is probably one of my favorite moments on a recent NXT, was the camera panning up to Gacy after the chair landed on the ground. So, do I want that match to happen? Yes. Do I think it's definitely going to happen? I think it's a match that could easily happen on the NXT after Stand and Deliver either. So we'll have to wait and see. I imagine we'll find out more tomorrow. And if I find out more, I'll be sure to let everyone know.
That's our Stand and Deliver predictions along with the OTT Supremacy show. Join us tomorrow for our Wrestlemania night 1, night 2. Well, like once we know exactly what order they're going to be in, you can mash them up. But tomorrow we'll be going through Wrestlemania, the match card. So join us then, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.
Bye.